What's up guys, my name is Chico Moya and thank you for joining me on my channel once again. Moving to a new country is difficult. It really affects you. It affects you mentally and emotionally. And after having been here for just over 2 years, I'm starting to see certain areas that I have been affected. And that's what I want to talk about today. Now before we start, I just want to say I'm really sorry that it looks different behind me. I'm actually still at work. I was heading home to shoot this video, but then it started snowing outside and it looks freaking cold. So I thought I'll just shoot this here. I'm going to tell you 10 different things, 10 different ways I feel that I have changed. There are 5 things that I view as positive and 5 things that I view as negative. Number 1, which is going to be a negative. I feel like I've become a lot less outgoing, a lot more quiet and a bit more introspective. And that's not who I am usually. I'm a very outgoing person. I love to meet different people. I love to hang out. You know, that's the type of person that I am. But recently, I've kind of noticed that I'm a lot more quiet now. In the past, I would be the person who might strike up a conversation with a random person on the bus or on the train or whatever. I'm the one who would probably be the loudest in the group. I love just randomly meeting people. And I completely understand that that is really different to how things are here. Finnish people are a lot more quiet and introspective, and they like to keep to themselves. And you do mirror the place you are to a certain extent. So I feel like I've taken up some of those attributes, and I mean, I'm still, especially compared to Finnish people, I'm still incredibly outgoing. And I think that's probably the reason why I created this YouTube channel, to let out some of that outgoing energy. You know, I've never been someone who's been afraid to just speak to a random person. Even to tell the random person to move out of my way. If you're walking in a store and there's someone there with a trolley, usually I'd be like, excuse me, can I just get through? Now I find myself kind of thinking about it a little bit and being like, maybe if I just wait a little bit, they will move by themselves. I mean, there's got to be a balance, but I view that as a negative because it goes against who I feel I am. Number 2, which is a positive. Ever since moving here, I feel like I've become a bigger dreamer. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's being in Europe and earning euros, but the possibility of making a lot of money or becoming a really successful musician or doing really well in my work as a video editor and that sort of stuff, it all seems a lot more possible to me. Number 3, which is a negative, I feel a lot more at risk of being low or feeling low or depressed. Now, I'm pretty sure the weather has something to do with this, and I explained it in another video, which I'll link up here somewhere. I'm not getting as much vitamin D here, and it gets dark early, and this is usually just the winter months. So that can feel quite heavy for me at times, but I'm pretty sure being away from family has something to do with it. Missing the things that you know, the friends that you know, the relationships that you've built that aren't the same when you're trying to keep them going via messages or whatever the case is. So yeah, I do feel like I have to put an extra amount of work to keep my head above water. And it might just be that I need a bit more time to adjust to life here and to adjust to my new friendships and relationships here. Number 4, which is a positive, I feel a lot more gratitude. Having come from a country like South Africa, I'm not used to not seeing too much crime or transport working so beautifully for there to be a comparable little amount of poverty, you know, in comparison to a lot of other places. I'm not used to those things, so I'm constantly really grateful for it. If you're Finnish or you live in Finland and you're watching this, just remember to be grateful about that stuff. And it's true, you probably have to have lived outside of Finland to truly be grateful for how it is here. Number 5, I feel like I've got less friendships. After having moved here, I had to start my friendship group from zero once again. Of course, I've got friends that I really love and care about back in South Africa, but moving here and having to restart my friendship group, that was difficult. It still hasn't gotten to the point where I feel incredibly surrounded by a bunch of friends. Things feel a lot less spontaneous because of that. Back in South Africa, I would constantly receive messages or calls saying, hey, what are you doing right now? I'm going out for a beer. Do you want to join me? In South Africa, things are really spontaneous and they just happen. Here, it's different. I've only been here for a little bit of time. It's starting to change slowly, but it's great. And don't worry, this isn't a plea for me going, no, please be my friend. Number 6, I feel like I'm constantly learning and growing. It could be a combination of a whole bunch of things like moving to a new place and trying to establish myself, but I feel like I'm constantly learning new skills. I'm constantly trying things out, new business ventures, new skills like learning how to be better at video editing, learning how to become a better guitarist, slowly trying to learn a new language. I felt like the only way I could survive was to evolve. When you're in your comfort zone, you're less inclined to push yourself. Number 7, which is a negative, is I find myself constantly worrying about friends and family that aren't here. That's also a normal thing, but it just feels a lot heavier now being a couple thousand kilometers away from any of my family. There's like this nagging thing in the back of your mind, constantly wanting to check up on friends or family, especially with what's happening in the world. Finland's probably one of the better places to be, and I have to make an actual effort to not worry and to actually be like, no, need to focus on what I'm doing here and now. And I'm sure this is something that affects almost anyone who's had to leave a country. I know some of you might be able to relate to that, worrying about people who are physically far away from you. Number 8, I've become a lot more aware of the beauty around me, the beauty of nature. The landscape of Finland is so beautiful that you would have to be blind not to see it. And because nature has almost slapped me in the face and been like, yo, look at me, I've become a lot more aware of nature in general. I'd be on a bus going somewhere and I'll just look out and I'll see all the lovely trees, or I'll go for a walk and I'll see the snow falling down. And even when I went back to South Africa last year to visit family and stuff, I was still able to see nature and be like, wow. And it's not even just nature, it's the landscape too. It's the architecture. Have you ever walked through the city of Helsinki at night when there's fairy lights shining everywhere and it looks just incredible? I actually did a video about how beautiful fairy lights are in the city. I'll link it here. There's just so much beauty here and I'm blown away by it. Number 9, I do feel like there's a less go with the flow spirit in Finland in general with people. I feel like everything has to be planned out to a T before things happen. Things are a little bit rigid and I feel like I've started being that way a lot more. In 3 days time, can we do this? I've become less inclined to send someone a message and be like, yo, what are you doing right now? Let's go for a drink or watch a movie or something, because I've been let down quite often in that aspect where someone is always busy unless they knew it before. And you know, it's a negative, but is it really? I don't know. You tell me what you think. But there is that part of me that misses that vibe of just sitting down and like, hey, what are you doing right now? Let's go do this. And number 10, I'm evolving. Moving here felt like I had to be unmade to start being put together again. And that's the place I find myself in, where I'm slowly trying to figure out who this new me is, or at least choosing who this new me is. It's crazy how much just moving to a new place changes you. There's still a core of who I think I am and believe I am that I never want to lose. You guys have been amazing for watching these videos. I hope you enjoyed this one. I know it's a little bit more low-key and a little bit more chilled. When we reach 2,000 subscribers, I will be going for an ice swim and I'll document the whole thing. So hit that subscribe button, give me a like, I really appreciate that. Hey, and while you're at it, why don't you just hit the bell icon too? It lets you know the moment I publish a video. Have a fantastic day or evening or wherever you are. Cheers for now. Bye.